Welcome to the Hasn't Been 3 Days podcast. We're your hosts, Justin and BJ, and we talk about 3-day-old news, sports, and whatever else we want to talk about. You, the MVP listener, listen in, you laugh, you hate on our takes and opinions, but just don't let us know about those unless it's been 3 days. So welcome back. We're a day late broadcasting this week due to some things going on, but you know what? We're not about influencing our world. We're more about making impressions. And once again, shout out to our guest last week, Dia Miller. Our impressions have skyrocketed. We are almost viral in the state of Nebraska. That's the only place we're viral just because of that. But we're at 1,427 impressions over the last 30 days. Our viewership has drastically changed. Last week, we were almost equal male and female listeners. After last week's episode, I think people started following Dia because we have 36% males listening, and now we have 53% females listening to the podcast. So I'd say we might need to mix in some more women. And with that being said, I'd like to introduce my brother.
You just did him dirty.
Oh,
Hang on. Everybody always loves Brady, even all the ladies back in the day.
That's right.
I think this is probably appropriate.
It is. We did not want to drop the ball after coming off such a great show last week, and so we have the famous, the person we've been waiting for, another great compadre to the old school way of where these stories are coming from. And so my brother, my role model, the little brother I've always looked up to, Brady Thielander, is joining us tonight. Brady, how the heck are you, man?
Hey, great. Thanks for having me. Hello to Has It Been 3 Days? I'm not going to drop the ball. I'm going to take that ball. I'm going to run out of bounds and I'm going to score a touchdown. I promise.
Yeah, we were talking about that story again, Justin, and I was talking to Brady about it. He's like, I don't think it was tackle football. I think it was flag football. I said, well, you can correct it on the podcast, so we'll get it all corrected. But either way, we're scoring a touchdown, and so we're excited to have you on tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're going to do with you what we've done with Justin's brother, Nate, and we're going to have you join us for the whole show. And so thanks for your time tonight, and thanks for being with us for sure. So
yeah. Thank you, Brady.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Glad you guys are doing this. It's been a lot of fun just to listen in and even get to know different sides of you guys. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're glad you're here. And just how we kind of start, how's the last 3 days been for you, Brady?
Pretty good. I've been on vacation, just got back from Nashville. My wife's sister got married in Nashville, so spent some time with her family. Got to go to a Nashville Predators game, Top Golf, a road trip with the family. So I'm feeling good.
Awesome. Justin, how's your weekend been? I know you guys have been dealing with a lot of stuff going on lately.
Yeah, it's been hectic, but we're managing. My wife had an elective surgery on her back, so she got through that, and all positive news from that. And been sitting in rehab at the hospital for she's probably going to be there for 2 weeks, but kind of playing part of the journey to get her back and going the way that she wants to be. And then just on top of that, all the kids things, football games, run around church. So we're just kind of just hanging about. What about yourself, BJ?
Yeah, the last 3 days have been crazy. We've had our annual gala last night at work, and so that was caused the delay in the podcast this week. But it went well. This was our 5th gala that the company has hosted. I've only been there since July, but we've been around for 40 years, and so there was a lot of celebration, a lot of things that went into this night. Our director that's leaving and retiring, she was kind of passing the baton. So it was a cool night. Lots of new friends, new faces, but a lot of stress when you're, in charge of those things. But it was good. We had great feedback from everybody that was there. Just had a great time. And even beyond that, just a good weekend. Got to spend some time. I got to go to church with the kids, so that's always fun. And I always love that. So Had a good. It's been a good 3 days. It's been busy. It's been crazy. I'm tired, but it's been good. So yeah, it's awesome. Justin, tell us about what you've been reading. What kind of news you got coming for us this week?
I got a good one for you. I didn't know freezers were around this long, but this article I came across has to do with somebody having a biscuit that was given to them that's been sitting in a freezer for 84 years. Oh my gosh. First off, my biggest question is like, this can't be the same for freezer, right? I mean, I know they made good product back then, but I don't think this freezer's been the same one. So they've obviously moved this biscuit, but they were cleaning out a freezer, and this lady said that she remembered when somebody brought it over, and they kind of just put it away, and it's been there for 84 years. I don't get it. I mean, leftovers grow in my fridge sometimes. Like leftovers just start growing things. So my deep freezer, I don't know if things last 10 years in there, or even if it's good after 10 years.
I think I've had a few biscuits that were that old from Popeyes. So
Popeyes.
if you put enough honey on it, it's still good. It's still good.
The picture of this biscuit, there is no way that this biscuit didn't have freezer burn and didn't just become this incredibly. It still looked like a biscuit. It had to have been a McDonald's biscuit to still have that consistency.
Yeah, I don't know if it was flaky, but man, it probably was a hockey puck. It had to have been a hockey puck. Like,
yeah.
Besides it being black, it wasn't black, but yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know how. Like, you had to move this biscuit when you moved.
You did. I mean, so Brady and I, we've moved a lot in our lifetime. When we had a rule when we started moving, like my family, like if we moved a box that hadn't been opened from the prior move, we threw it away.
Yeah.
So we didn't do this kind of stuff. But let me ask you this question, both of you guys. I know I grew up with Brady, so leftovers were a thing that we did. Do you guys do this now, or did you ever? Do you mark the date on your leftovers?
Absolutely not. No.
Yeah, here's the thing about me. I don't keep leftovers. I'd rather have peanut butter and jelly than leftovers. So here's my theory on leftovers. Carolee brings it home. We store it in the fridge for 3 days, and then I throw it in the trash. That's just how it goes.
Hasn't been 3 days. So
it's perfect. Yeah, it's just, I don't mark it. No, I think nowadays Becky has, over the last 2 years, just bought the glass containers so you can see what's in it instead of a plastic Cool Whip bowl or
butter.
Yeah,
or the country crock.
Yeah. So we so no, we don't mark the dates on that. But I'll eat leftovers, but I only give it a few days.
So two questions. What was your growing up, what was your favorite meal that you knew would still withstand being a leftover?
It has to be chili. Anything soup that, especially if it has something spicy in it, if you let it sit for a couple days, it gets even hotter. And so I love that. Plus, chili or soup doesn't get like mushy when you reheat it. So that's about the only thing I'm eating left over.
So Brady,
cool.
mom made hamburger tater tot casserole. Do you ever remember having that as leftovers?
I don't remember. No, maybe I blocked that out.
It's one of those things where you put it in the container that you can't tell what it is. I remember vividly. It doesn't keep well, for sure. But you go to get some butter to put on your toast or something.
Oh, yeah.
Pull that butter tub lid open, and there's this hamburger casserole from who knows how long ago it was. Yeah, no,
it's got hair on it now because it grew. Full mold on top. Oh yeah. If your refrigerator is really big, it gets lost in the back. Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we learned anything from Napoleon Dynamite, you don't need to keep your tater tots in the refrigerator. Just keep them in your cargo pants.
Give me some of your tots.
Give you some of your tots. Napoleon, give me some of your tots. Can you throw a football over the mountain, huh? Right? But yeah, so tater tot casserole, you talk about tater tot casserole. We don't ever, when I make it here at the house now, we don't ever have leftovers of that. We eat that all. Yeah, because the tater tots just get too mushy.
Yeah.
I would agree with you, 100%.
You know, Carolee, Brady's wife, was the first person when we had that. She was the first person that taught me that it was okay to put ketchup on that meal. And I never had ketchup on tater tot casserole. But she knew what she was doing. I mean, it's not bad. But tater tots are one of the things. I don't choose to eat ketchup very often, but when tater tots is one of those places you can always throw ketchup on them. So
now that you moved to Oregon, you're too good for ketchup?
No,
Is that what you're saying?
No, hold on. Now that I've moved to Oregon, I have found the best ketchup in the world.
Yeah, it's called Heinz.
No. It is Portland Company ketchup. And I thought forever when I first had this ketchup, because I don't care for ketchup, but I had this ketchup. I thought it was homemade ketchup. And I told somebody we went to this restaurant and we had this, and I had their ketchup. And I thought, this is the best ketchup I've ever had in my life. And I said, this has got to be homemade. It's got to be made from scratch there in the restaurant. Somebody goes, no, it's from a bottle you can buy at the grocery store. So we've actually sent it back to people in the Midwest. They can sell the gift packs of them. Portland is the brand. Ketchup, mustard.
You can buy it at Target.
Yeah.
$4 for a tiny little bottle.
It's homemade. It's worth it. It is worth it. Yep. Huh. Anybody who's listening from the PNW to this podcast, you can attest to the Portland ketchup is the best ketchup. So there you go.
I'll have to try it whenever I get invited out.
Yeah. You've been invited out. Yeah.
I know.
Hey, I got to tell you this, both of you, because you're both golfers, and we this could segue us into what Justin wanted to ask you, Brady.
I don't remember what I was going to ask him, but okay.
You were going to ask him about golf, yeah.
Oh yeah, I got a story. Yep. Okay.
So we're having this gala last night at this golf course, this golf club in West Lynn, Oregon, and this place is incredible. It's just a beautiful place, and I had a joke because I was the MC for the night, and so I had this joke written into my stuff that I was like, I want to know where which line item on the invoice is the free golf for the MC, as we're paying this bill. And then I'm setting up before the event, and the event coordinator comes in. She goes, I forgot to tell you, here's a gift certificate for golf. And I'm like, oh, I had this joke all ready to go.
Oh, jeez.
No, I can't use this joke, but really, thank you so much. So I've got a free round of golf for 4 and carts at this Oregon golf club. So if you guys want to make it out, we can go take that.
It looks really nice.
It is incredible. The value of this is $800. I mean,
wow,
it's insane. So
all right, I'll pay for the tickets, Brady.
Can I wear my jean shorts?
No.
Yeah.
I think you actually have to wear a suit, just like they did back in the 50s. Little sweater vest and tie with your knickers.
I would wear the knickers. I would do that.
So here's a question then about golf. I know Justin's got some questions for you about real golf, Brady, but Brady's a golfer. Brady's a good golfer.
Really
who
good.
is your who would be your dream foursome that you could play with? Who are the other 3 players that you would want to play a round of golf with? If you could play golf with anybody, who are the 3 people you're choosing?
Man, you should have gave me some time to think about that. That's a good question.
About 5 seconds.
You can have.
Do you know who yours would be, Justin?
No. Are we playing a foursome like a scramble? Do I have to make my decisions off of that?
You're just going to spend 5 hours with three people that you want to play golf with.
Jeez. That changes the game. Um, well,
Yeah.
both of you.
That's not scoring you any points.
Oh, it's not. Dang it! I was trying to
I
buy you guys off.
I get
I don't really know. Um, Man, that's a good question, BJ.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah, I
this is
think
making good radio.
I I think for me, golf, if I'm golfing with people, it's just because I love them or whatever. And in fact, when you play with somebody that is intimidating, it's not that much fun because you're just worried about so many things. So I'd rather have dinner with people that are like, super intimidating, but I'd rather play golf with my family, my boys, my dad, my brother, just friends. Because that's what golf is to me. Like I don't take people golfing to do like pastoral work or take people golfing to do sales work. I don't get that. Like that's just not what golf is to me.
Yeah, see, BJ, my answer wasn't that far off. Taking both of you.
No, and I knew where you were going, and I would say the same thing. Brady,
Yeah,
you had
great.
a good point. I mean, dinner. That was the kind of the subject of that. Was it Mike Lupica book? If you could have dinner with anybody or something like that, who would it be? Um, which famous person? But yeah, I'm with you. I think for me the same thing. I'm not good at golf, so I would rather play with somebody I enjoy being around than especially I don't want to go spend 5 hours with somebody that I can't stand. And I mean, if they're just going to make me mad, I mean, my dad taught us when he was teaching us how to play golf, or at least he said this to me a lot. I don't know if he said it to you, Brady, but he always said to me, if you're not having fun playing golf, there's no reason to be out there. Um, and that came to a point like, I mean, if you're so worried about your score or your swing and all this stuff, either get better or find a different hobby if it's going to make you mad. You need to be out there having fun.
Yeah, which it brings up something about Justin because he used to go with us over to Wellington Greens, which was this par 3 course across the street from our house, which I used to go play at that course before I could even drive because I could grab my clubs and walk over there. But the problem was there was this greenskeeper and he was super intimidating and he kept really nice course and he didn't like people that went and like jacked around on the course. And so anytime Justin went, I knew that guy was going to be following us around and Justin was going to hit one off the tee with his putter or take a chunk out of the green with his sand wedge or something. And so I was always trying to keep him in line, keep him from throwing clubs so he didn't get expelled from Wellington Greens.
Yeah, and that doesn't happen. Whatever, Brady. Um, my favorite story for Wellington Green, so we're talking about it, is when Brady first started playing golf. You remember when you hit that driver off of one, you almost a hole in one, like your first few rounds of golf, and we're just like, yeah, great. This is how it's going to be for the rest of our life.
Yeah. Yeah, that when I was like 12 or 13, I could hit my driver on those holes and it would be about perfect distance. And I never hold out on with my driver, but I did have 2 holes in 1 on that course. And I thought those would be the first 2 of many, and I've never holed out on a par 3 since then. So that's kind of depressing.
Yeah, I just remember you hitting that shot, and we're like, he's hitting driver, okay, and then it's like, all right, this thing's going to go in, and then he just started becoming Tiger Woods.
Yeah, I remember watching Justin swing, and I watched how loopy he was at the top, and I was like, "What's going on up there?" And then, hit this big, like, open face, like, flop shot off the tee, and I said, "What? How does somebody swing like that?" And then uh, Nate Rabel invites me over to their house, and we walk upstairs, and Justin's practicing his golf swing in his bedroom, and in order to be able to swing in his bedroom, he had to avoid the ceiling fan. So he like
Yep.
took it up and around the one blade and then back down. And I said, that's why he swings like that.
He was Jim Furyk
Oh
before Jim Furyk.
man,
He was. We'd be 40 yards out, and all of us are hitting like a quarter gap wedge, and Justin's got a 7-iron, and he's just flopping it straight in the air.
So that's what, like,
Oh,
Justin's gotten a lot better at golf, but I remember playing a lot with him and he would always
Man.
ask me what club I was hitting because he was always 2 clubs longer than me because he would hit it so high. And like you're saying, flop shot in a 7-iron, I would tell him, and I hit my irons pretty long for somebody who's not very good, but yeah, it's like, yeah, I'm 140 yards out. I'm going to hit a 3/4 or a pitching wedge or a 3/4 9-iron. And he's like, oh, I better hit a 6.
dude,
Yeah.
I'm probably one of the very few people who can hit an open face flop shot with a 9.5 degree driver.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah. Which
yeah,
is actually super impressive. Like the precision it takes to hit a good flop shot on every swing is really, really
yeah.
impressive.
Well, speaking of precision,
Oh, building bridges on golf courses?
well, that too, but that involved Nate. Brady, were you with us when Nate hit the ball backwards?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do remember that. That's the only time I've ever seen somebody hit
Yes.
it backwards without hitting something. They just
Yes.
the ball literally
Yeah.
went backwards.
Yeah. That was
He,
that was amazing. I could not
I,
believe he did that.
That was a flop shot he learned from me, I guess.
I think
Oh,
that was even
jeez.
off. That was off the. We were only playing 9. I think if I remember right, we were playing the back 9 at this course, and so it was the first tee box, number 10, and he hits it and it goes backwards, and he's like, "I'm done."
He's like,
Hey,
I'm
that's
done.
the first swing of the day. Just go.
That sounds about right for Nate.
Yeah, that's that pressure is, you get on that tee box and there's people there that you're not playing with that are watching and you knew if Nate stood up and there was any pressure, bad things were going to happen. And it did. Bad things happened.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, we've had a lot of good times at golf courses. We've played a lot of fun courses too. But going back to talk about playing, I love playing with you guys, and I do miss it a lot. I told the story about your dad. I love played golf with your dad and getting to know him on the golf course. It's just so much more fun than like what everybody else may experience him as, like a pastor or the dad. Obviously you know him as a dad, but it's just that was a fun piece. And I told this to BJ Brady is that was the piece that I got to understand and open up with your dad a lot more is, the golf course does bring that out in people. And that's the beauty of it. So,
Mhm.
but
yeah, absolutely. I think so much of our friendship, just in general, with all those guys, just revolved around sports, whether it be softball or golf or going to games or playing in the yard. Like, watching it on TV, like it's crazy the role that sports plays and just personalities that come out. Like one of my favorite memories of Justin is main event basketball when I was, he's quite a bit older than I am. So I was in junior high, but we would had a couple years where we played on the same team, and it was always just that's the most fun I've ever had playing basketball was at main event with the church team. It was just a lot of fun.
because then the Lincoln team was always the best. So the
Yeah,
district,
we had quite the rivalry with Omaha Central and all those guys from the Benson Bunnies.
Mhm. I mean, it started. There was a little bit of that with Justin and I's era, but then you really had it with the Omaha guys. Was you were coming up, Braid too? I mean, that was a different
was that
rivalry.
with the Clough boys?
Mm.
Yeah, they're quite a bit younger than me.
Oh, still okay.
They would both have destroyed me if they were my age, I'm sure. But yeah, there were a couple of Hastings teams. You had
Yeah.
the Haas brothers and some of them,
Oh
and
yeah,
but
yeah.
main event basketball was just fun. And then we have a really good friend, Jeff Heaston. And one year going into main event basketball, he said. He tells us, he says, all I care about is I'm going to get ejected
Foul,
from the game. So
Gonna foul
first,
out.
first
Gonna go
game,
through the foul out.
first game, he takes the ball and he goes up and he asks the ref. I think the ref was an Oberg, and he goes, "What do I have to do to get kicked out?" And he says, "Well, if you punt the ball, I'm going to give you a technical." And so Jeff gets the rebound. He punts the ball all the way down the court. The ref gives him a technical. He walks down. I think he walked down, grabbed the ball, and punted again. Got the second technical. Got kicked out of the game.
Oh my goodness, I forgot about that story.
That
Oh,
was awesome.
Yeah, it's just
oh my
so.
gosh.
You're right, Braid, though. Those moments, I mean, it wasn't even just even in the games. I remember playing main event basketball when Dad coached our team at main event. So it was the Lincoln, it was the other churches. It wasn't the regional team for our high school. I know he coached you in the junior high at regionals. He was talking to that story a couple weeks ago, but he coached our main event team from Lincoln one year, and he just got so mad because he's such a traditional guy when it comes to basketball. Justin was the tallest guy on our team, and he was always like, Justin, get in the paint. Justin, get in the paint. Quit shooting threes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a trendsetter. See, big guys can shoot threes. They weren't
Yep.
doing that back in the NBA before me.
Yep.
Yeah. You were like 4 inches taller than the next person on the team, and like you never touched the paint the whole
Yep.
game. You were never in the key. It was like you were the ball handler.
You know, when you you gotta just do what you gotta do for the team. I mean, I know I had teammates, but sometimes. Whew. Well, let's quit talking about me so much. Jeez. No. No, those were the sports basketball when we were growing up. Yes, that's how the Rabel Thielander connection started, was over basketball. So
Yeah, and so many good 21 games in the parking lot on the 7.5 foot hoop, and just the physicality of those moments, and it was good. I always knew, like with BJ, you didn't want to make him mad. Like if you could keep him chill, you could beat him. He'll just kind of have fun. But once somebody like hit him over the top of the head or something, then he turned into like Wolverine, and all of a sudden he couldn't stop him for anything.
Do you remember though? I remember the first time you beat me in one-on-one. Do you remember this?
No.
We were at Lincoln Christian practicing for a regional team or a main event team, and you were a freshman. It was the first year we were getting to play together on the regional team, and you were becoming better than I was, and we were doing some sort of drill, and you and I were playing one-on-one, and you beat me for the first time, and I was pissed. I was so pissed, and I just stormed off the court. I was so mad, but yeah, I knew my time was over when that happened. So,
Well, my basketball skill peaked in 8th grade, so I'm sure it wasn't too impressive.
well, I'm kind of actually happy Nate's never beat me in basketball. I don't know how I could handle that.
yeah, he didn't really care too much. Those 21 games, it was like he would play on the low hoop and stand by the basket so he could goaltend everything and
He
dunk
would have been
everything.
the Rabel in the paint, so that way
Yeah.
he wouldn't have to go back and forth to the key. Top of the key.
That's
So.
true. That's true.
Oh, jeez. Well, Brady, what do you do? I mean, the stories and stuff, but what do you do for a living? Maybe people don't know what you do.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be shocked to find out that I actually am a pastor of a Nazarene church, really awesome Nazarene church in Sapulpa, Oklahoma. And so I did music ministry for 11 years, and the last 6 years now, I've been pastoring this church in Oklahoma, and it's been awesome.
Yeah, that's a wonderful property. I've been on it once, and you put
It
me to
is.
work. You put me to work that weekend because you had some kind of fair or some festival.
Nice. Sorry about that.
It was really hot that day, and your gym didn't have air conditioning.
Yeah, we did. We just didn't turn it on for you, I think, was the thing.
That's fair. No, but you do have a really nice church, and I think you just had a remodel or shortly. I don't remember what it was exactly, but it seemed new when I was there. It smelled new.
Yeah, it's an awesome place and really good people, and I'm lucky to be there for sure.
Brady is Brady is very modest and humble, and when it comes to this, I always told people he's one of the Thielanders you want to have, either leading you or with you in ministry for sure. And I still feel that way. I still feel strongly about that. Watching you, Brady, has been one of the greatest joys of my life, is just to be able to watch and see how God uses you still, and uses you in mighty ways. I get asked Brady came out to help me with some revival services when I was pastoring in Illinois, and he did the music for us, and really did a great job. And I still keep in contact with some of those people in Illinois. And just the other day, I was talking to one of the guys, and he said, he always asks, every time I talk to him, every time I interact with him, he's like, "How's your brother Brady doing? I loved it when he was here." And I get to brag about you, and he's so proud of you, and just so thankful that you're still leading the way you are. You are an incredible leader. You're an incredible man of God, and it is a pleasure to know that I get to call you my favorite brother and my role model, and I'm just thankful for you, bud.
Well, thank you. That means a lot to me. And I've always had the support, just feel like people in my family have believed in me. And, all of us know how much that matters, just to have people in your corner that are kind of pushing you forward. And I'm really grateful for the legacy of the Thielander family and the role you play in that, BJ, and our friendship and partnership and ministry. And it's just so valuable. And so thanks for those kind words. And I really appreciate the love.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Brady, I've seen you grow up. BJ's seen you from the family, inside the walls there of your guys' house. But just seeing you when you were growing up younger, and how far you came through. I remember you being shy. We've heard those stories, right? Or maybe we heard some of them on this podcast. I don't know, but I just remember how you were really shy, and you were outgoing with the people that you knew, but just anybody else. And I remember how just you were comfortable around us, and yeah, I second everything BJ says about how the growth that you've had, and we can look at you as an example. Well, both of you as an example, but just how you're growing, and the more and more I hear you preach, you take this. You sound just like your dad. Your mannerisms, when I watch it online, it's just fun. It's fun to see that. So I get joy from that as well.
Well, thank you. And yeah, that is a compliment. Obviously, my dad's my hero, and but I think it's cool because both you and BJ are quite a bit older than me, and you always made space for me in whatever we were doing and invited me to go along. And there are a couple times BJ's like, "Do you really have to come with us?" But for the most part, I was always included in the group, and that made a huge difference for me. And in my younger years, I really struggled, those who know me, with like anxiety and stuff. And Justin, you've always been kind of like a protective personality. Like your people, you have this like protective agency about you when you're with people. You stick up for people, and you have like this sense of command about you. And so I don't know if I've ever told you this before, but you were always like a safe person for me, because that I just your aura was like, You're gonna protect me, you're gonna be safe." And so I feel like you and I hung out and did things that I didn't get to do with a lot of other people, just because you kind of put me at ease. And it's cool to see you continue in that, just in your family too, and just how that agency and all that you've gone through with Becky, and just how you've risen to that, to be the protective person in your family. And you're an inspiration, man. You guys have been through a lot. And it's one thing to do well when things are easy and your life is blessed, and for the most part that's my story. But it's another thing to rise to the occasion when everything hits the fan. And so it's been cool to see you do that, and everybody watching, I think, feels the same way. And so, yeah, I think uh, right back at you, man.
Well, I appreciate that, Brady. It's like I said. If you're in my circle, I'll. I've always said that. If I've always told everybody, as like, if I'm going to make time for you, or if you're going to make time for me, I'm going to make time for you. And if I'm going to invest in you, I'm going to be invested. I'm not going to be one foot in, one foot out. We're going to do this all together. So, if you ride with me or you die with me. So sorry, you're stuck with me
Yeah,
now.
speaking of riding with you,
Oh,
that's like
geez, here we go. Yep.
some of the
Yes.
scariest moments of my life. Riding in a car that Justin is driving is a full-on adventure for sure. And I remember one time,
Oh,
I think we were going down 56th Street, and somebody pulls in front of us, and of course, like Justin's already flying. So there's like a median between the lanes, if I remember right. Justin might remember better, but they pull into the intersection, and Justin whips it into oncoming traffic to avoid the crash. We go about 40, 50 yards in oncoming traffic and then swerves back into our lane. And
Yeah.
we both just looked at each other like, whoa, what just happened? And I was like, I think you just saved my life.
That may or may not happen, but yes. Uh, there's been times. There's been times where my license probably should have been suspended. Yeah. Um,
it's
but
hard to
yeah,
get suspended though when you're running from the cops and
when
they
they
can't
can't
catch
catch
you.
you. Yeah. Uh, yeah. Brady was Brady in the car for that one time, or was
No,
it
that
just
was
me and
just you,
you?
and that was just you and me.
I
Yeah.
know Brady and your sister Beth were always riding my car before they even knew how to drive, right? And so it's like I got the pleasure of teaching them how to drive. Um, that's
Yeah.
not true, but yeah, they probably are like,
Step
okay, we just do the opposite of what he does, and we'll be good.
here's the steps in Justin's driving school. Step one, you pull the seat back as far as it go, and then you lay it down so it looks like you're sleeping, so you can't even
Okay.
see your face. That's step one. Then you take your bleach cassette tape out of the center console and you pop that in the stereo and turn it
Yep.
up to 10. And then you
Yep.
change lanes every 3 seconds at a minimum. You
Yeah,
change lanes every 3 seconds.
it's like the floor is lava, the lane's lava. You have to get out of the way. Yeah, it's like dirt bike, excite bike. You don't want to run an oil spill or something. Yeah, and it keeps the tires warm if you move them back and forth. Rubbin's racing, right? Rubbin's racing. Oh, geez. Yeah, there are some moments in driving around with me. BJ and I. BJ made me avoid those cops that one time.
Nope.
He keeps on. Whatever. Come on,
Nope.
dude. You
Nope.
encouraged it. Uh,
I did tell the story to my kids. Brady.
megaphone.
No, not well. I've
Oh.
told that one too. But do you remember, Brady, when you got in a wreck right outside the house, and I had to flee the scene because you didn't have your wallet with you?
I do remember that.
We were going, and you turned into the opposite. You didn't even turn. It was all your fault. But you're like, BJ, I don't have my wallet. Can you run to the house? And I ran back to the house to get your wallet.
I
We
don't
were on
know.
our way to a volleyball game, I think. But yeah,
Yeah, I think we're playing St. Mark's basketball with James Snook.
yeah.
Yeah, and that was my first ever accident. Definitely was my fault, and literally was like 30 feet from our yard. And so that was good because I did not have my wallet. So you saved me on that one. Thank you.
Which
Yeah,
car was that in?
That was in the convertible. I hadn't had it that long, and then it had
The
this.
LeBaron.
Yeah, then it had this huge dent in the back, but you know me, I'm so cheap. Like the insurance gave me money to fix the dent, and I was like, I think I'll just keep the dent and keep the money. And so the convertible had the big dent for the rest of its life.
Hey, it still worked when I traded it in on the Jeep, though.
But yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Didn't that LeBaron get into another accident, like on 56th Street, like a pretty bad one, didn't it?
No, that was in the Honda Civic. So BJ and I
Oh,
traded
yeah.
cars when he got the Jeep,
Okay,
and
that's right.
yeah, it was a similar place to where you dodged the intersection, but yeah, my sister and
It
I
wasn't
got
me. Yeah, it wasn't me that got in the way. Sorry.
yeah, sister and I got in a bad accident, and she was eating flaming hot Cheetos, and when we went to pick up or go look at the car in the whatever it is, the junkyard, there were flaming hot Cheetos every square inch of that car.
Yeah, I do remember that accident. I remember hearing about that. That was a tough accident. It was a
Yeah,
pretty hard hit. I remember.
it wouldn't have happened if you were driving because we would have been in the oncoming traffic lane
Yeah,
and we would
we
have
would have been
avoided
fine. We would have drove through Union College softball fields.
that.
Oh goodness, good times in the cars with me. Uh Brady was, yeah. He was with us for the megaphone thing when we were yelling at people and they were stealing our dog. Right? He was
I
with us in
was
the back seat.
I was in the car for that. I
Yeah,
wasn't in the car for all those other illegal things you guys were talking about. Somebody said it happened in my car, but
it was in
those
my
were
car.
yeah, yeah. So
I
I
think
just
you
need
were
to.
there though.
I was not there for that
Oh,
story. No,
not
I
that
was
one.
not
Okay,
there.
you were
Nope.
in for the other golf clubs that we stole. Okay,
So
or
yeah, but
borrowed. Excuse me.
Yeah, we didn't
the
steal them. We took them back.
Yeah, they just were
We
L
took them.
shaped.
We took them. We took them back to the wrong house, but we took them back.
They they got to the neighborhood.
the only criminal thing I did in the car with I think it was just Nate and I this night, and that we didn't know it was as illegal as it was, but it was about this time of year. There were political signs out everywhere, so Nate and I went and stole about 40 of them. And at the time, Sean Yost and R.J. Hawk was living in this house, and so we took 40 or 50 of these political signs and put them in their front yard. And
Oh,
I didn't realize until a decade later that how illegal it is to remove a political sign from somebody's property, but I'm glad we didn't get caught that night.
Yeah. Or the night we were turning left from the right lane on O Street.
Over and
wow.
over again.
Oh, we did, yeah. And then our friend Phil, and this was in the convertible. We pulled into the neighborhood because he had to
Oh,
pee so bad, and he's like, "We're not going to the bathroom." And he gets up on the back seat, the top's down, and he's off the back of the convertible in the neighborhood, and they're like, "Oh man, you're gonna get us so much trouble, indecent exposure."
who was with my brother in the car in the Taco Bell drive-through?
Yeah.
Where was it? Just you, or was Brady there
No,
too?
I don't know if Brady was there or not. I think James Snook was with us. He was another. I think Jeff might have been with us. Um, I don't think you were there, Braid, when I ran over Nate's foot. And we were trying to put the sign on the Taco Bell drive-through microphone that said "microphone" or "the speaker broken, please yell." And he gets out to put it on the thing, and I pulled forward. I just creeped forward, and he had his foot underneath the tire, and I ran over his foot.
He's never walked the same.
He's never walked the same. He
Yeah,
still
we
shuffles that foot.
Shh.
Who doesn't have a Taco Bell injury, anyways? I mean, pretty common.
Pre or post meal.
Right.
So this goes back to the story. I know Brady. We told the story on a different with Nate, but your famous shakes that you made for Nate. What was your perspective on what you provided Nate? Nate pretty much said that you gave him gasoline and tried to kill him. But what was the thought process on getting Nate a shake that day? That
Yeah,
night.
so I always loved making shakes. So it was something, it's not the first shake that I had ever made for Nate. And I don't know what got into us that night, but we were in the kitchen and we just unloaded everything in the drawer into that shake just to see what he would do. And there was a lot of liquid smoke, which I didn't even know what liquid smoke was. I still don't know what liquid smoke is. But anyways, the funniest thing about that story, you already told it, is when Nate took a drink, like it wasn't really like him to be so nice to me, but it was like he did not want to tell me how bad it was. So he was just kind of like licking his lips over and over again. We were we were just watching for probably two or three sips, and then we couldn't hold it in anymore, and I had to say I would not finish that. So yeah.
Oh my gosh! Oh, that had dog biscuits in it too. Was that the same
No, the
one?
dog biscuits was a different. We tried to clear that up. That was a separate. That
I
was a
thought he
separate
blended
incident.
up dog biscuits in that shake too.
I don't think so.
No, there were it was everything out of the fridge, but it was nasty for
Was there
sure.
was there
Cottage cheese,
tater tot casserole?
80-year-old biscuit.
Oh goodness,
Yeah.
goodness.
Well, and now we've come full circle. So on the story front, Brady, before we move on to our next segment, what what would you say? What is a memory? What is one of your best memories with Nate and Justin and Jeff, or all of us, or any of that Lincoln crew that you can share that maybe will jog our memory too? What's something that just comes to your mind when you think about Justin and Nate and Jeff and the whole crew back there?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've already talked about a lot of them, but youth group trips definitely were some of my favorite times. And then just hanging out, at the house, and we played a lot of like snow football. And I don't remember. I don't think Justin was here because he was too old, but I'll never forget the night we went and bought boxing gloves and just beat the tar out of each other. Um, so that was fun, and just times at youth group and at the underground and on the basketball court. And yeah, I don't know that I have just one favorite memory, but
Yeah,
those are a bunch that are really fun.
Well,
yeah.
with Brady, we filmed those videos in the park, right? Remember those?
I do remember those. Yeah, yeah. And we simulated running over a squirrel. I
which,
think
which
James
was
Snook
Nate?
was
Was it Nate
there.
or
Yeah,
James?
yeah. Nate was the squirrel, and yeah.
Oh, geez. We had fun with the camera, just filming odd stuff, and oh, geez. I'm so glad social media wasn't around back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me too. For sure.
Yeah, a lot of those memories are with sports or doing something with football or something in the yard or at the basketball court, like you said. So, um, those are always great things. One of the things Justin and I are doing through this podcast is, and this was my idea. I don't know why it was my idea because I suck at it, but we're predicting games, and so if you've paid attention, and I'm not doing very well, but Justin's doing well. So Brady, we'd like for you to pick games with us this week, if you would. We normally pick at least two NFL games. We usually just stick to football, but with Brady coming on, we know that he's a hockey fan as well. So we threw a hockey game in here for you, Brad, as well. But would you pick some games with us?
Yeah, let's do it, and I'll see if I can beat Nate.
All right, sounds good.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. It probably won't take very much, but
Yeah. So the first game that I picked for us is the largest point spread of the weekend, and this team was just in the news from the other side of things. Vanderbilt is at home, and they have the biggest point spread of the week. They're playing Ball State, and they are favored. Vanderbilt is favored by 26 points in this game. So Ball State at Vanderbilt, point spread is 26 on this one. Who you got, Brady?
Yeah, I mean, these are two of the notoriously worst football programs in America. And the Vanderbilt quarterback was actually at the Nashville Predators game I was at. He's sitting on the second row. But if seen right, they have a great offense, a really good offense. So I wouldn't typically like that big of a point spread, but I'll take Vanderbilt.
All right. Justin, what about you?
well, Brady was just talking about the quarterback for Vanderbilt. He just launched his own podcast. Like he heard ours, and he's like, "Oh, these guys can do it. I can do it."
No, that's true.
But I mean, 2 weeks in a row, Vanderbilt. You beat Bama, you beat Kentucky. might as well keep on going. You need 3, right? So Ball State is going. Vanderbilt's not covering 26, but Vanderbilt will win.
So you're going Ball State?
I'll go Ball State. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a big point spread for a team that doesn't win a lot, but
Well, I had just put in the opposite of you to get another win, because one thing I didn't share is you were 1-4 last week, Justin.
I was horrible.
And I was 2-3, so only gained 1 game on you. But so I just flipped mine again. I'm going to go Vanderbilt just to be opposite of you and say they cover. So I'm only doing that because I need a win. So this is the degenerate gambler in me. So I got Vanderbilt. Second game, we got 2 NFL games right here. These are 2 intriguing games to me. This is why I picked them. 4 teams that are really kind of figuring some things out and kind of interesting to watch. The Ravens are favored by 3.5 on the road at Tampa Bay. So we got the Ravens at the Bucks. I normally don't care for this guy, but I think the transition for him to Tampa Bay has been good. And so I'm going to go Bucks winning this game because Baker Mayfield continues his whatever he's doing, his resurgence in Tampa Bay. So I'm going Bucks on this one.
Yeah, I think the Ravens win, but don't. If you said 3.5,
3.5, yep, on the road.
I'll take Bucks in the points.
Okay, Justin.
Well, I have Lamar Jackson as my quarterback, but I also have Baker Mayfield. Who at Bucks? I'm gonna pick Bucks. I think at home, it's just gonna be a shootout, so both of them can get good points for my fantasy league.
There you go.
Which, speaking of fantasy, BJ,
yeah,
you got axed this week from the fantasy.
I still haven't even got the email. I didn't think it was over.
Oh,
so too bad.
Good. We all started this fantasy league together as dads and sons, and Brady was like, I don't ever set my league for the first 3 weeks, and we said we'll do this league and Brady might get cut. Well, Brady keeps on winning. And BJ's gone.
I'm gone. I'm out.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah.
But sorry.
All right, so we all got the Bucks on that one. The next one is got the undefeated Vikings. 2 undefeated teams. We won't talk about the other one, but the Vikings are at home, favored by 2 points against the Lions. The Lions, I called them this the other week. The Lions are legit. Lions at the Vikings -2. Justin, who you got?
Hey, I'm wearing Lions blue right now, so we're going Lions.
All right. I'm going
to because they beat the Cowboys.
They destroyed the Cowboys last week.
I don't think the Cowboys showed up.
Yeah. I with you, but the Vikings find a way to win, and so at this point, this is a pick'em game. I'm going Vikings on this one.
All right.
Yeah, the Vikings are at home. They're not getting very much respect for how good they are. And didn't the Lions' defensive star break his leg?
Yeah, Hutchinson, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll take the Vikings.
Okay. All right. Good deal. Well, now we got your expertise, Brady. I picked the Friday night game for the Blues. That's your team. They're playing the Islanders Friday night at home in St. Louis. Islanders are 1-1-1, if that means anything to you, Justin. I'd only put that on there for your reference. And then the Blues are 2-2, 2-2-0. Brady, give us a little bit of insight on this game so we can pick this game.
Yeah, I don't know a ton about the Islanders this year, but I do know the Blues are about the same as they were last year. Probably going to finish two games out of the playoffs. Have no superstar power. So at home, 2-2. We're not picking the spread, right? Just picking the winner.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll go with the Blues as the home team here. But these two teams are pretty close. I mean. I don't know what the line is, but they're pretty similar.
Yeah. The Blues are plus 115. The Islanders are minus like 137, if that matters to any gamblers out there. I honestly don't know what that even means. So, yeah, do the Islanders have Connor McDavid?
No, they do not. No.
Where did he go?
He's still in Edmonton.
Yeah. Oilers. Okay,
Oilers,
that's right.
Yeah.
All right, my bad. Never mind.
I thought the Oilers were in Houston, but okay.
Yeah, I'm going Blues just because it's my brother's team, and I'm gonna back my brother. So
All right, so I guess I need to pick against the Thielander boys. I don't know why.
Boo.
I'm just gonna go the opposite because why not?
why not? Yeah. So you got
Islanders.
the Islanders.
It's
Cool.
early in the season. Let them win now. Then the Blues can win the last later.
There you go. There you go. All right. Well, the last game is the game of importance, and it is the Nebraska Cornhuskers going into Bloomington, Indiana, and facing the number 16th ranked undefeated Indiana Hoosiers. This is football, not basketball. And the Hoosiers are favored by 6.5 at home. Justin, do you want to go first or last or somewhere in the between?
I don't. It doesn't matter to me, to be honest with you. I mean, I can go first.
Yeah.
Nebraska wins by 10. Got it. We're good.
Right,
We're good.
yeah, you're not changing.
No, not changing at all. So, fun fact about this: Nebraska, the last time they played Bloomington, or last time they played in Bloomington was a year that I came and visited you, BJ. I don't think Brady was living in Tulsa or in the Tulsa area yet, but we watched this at your house, and Nebraska beat Indiana 27-22. That was the last time Nebraska has played in Bloomington. That was in 2016.
Yep, I did.
All the other games,
Sand Springs, then.
Yeah, or Sand Springs, Tulsa area. So,
Yep.
And Brady, because you hadn't moved there yet in 2016.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, I found that interesting because I was like, man, Nebraska's played Indiana, but the last two times have been in Lincoln, and they hadn't played in Bloomington since 2016.
Wow.
And so they won 27-22. So I guess they're just going to win again. They're going to win by 10.
Okay, sounds good. Brady, what do you think about this
Good
game? What do
logic,
you think about
I
the
know.
Huskers?
Yeah, I've actually watched a lot of the Huskers, quite a bit of them this year. And so I think, the special teams obviously is just baffling that they can't figure that out. And you could see in the first game, it's like this is going to cost them something. And I think as you play better teams on the road, that matters more as well. And I think the last game, what was really weird to me, frustrating to me, is just they were in control, but I think the energy level of Rayola, they got to coach him up on that. Like the offense came on the field and it was like he was just completely uninterested in what was going on in the game, just zero energy as a quarterback, and the offense reflected that, I thought, too. So when we moved to Nebraska, I should say this first. There's no fans like Nebraska fans. I've lived all over the place, 400 straight sellouts. They've been absolute garbage for 20 years, and they just sell that sucker out and go to those games. I have more respect for Nebraska fans than any other fan. I'm a Nebraska fan, but not a real one. When we moved to Nebraska, my role was to root for the other team just so I could make my friends angry when they lost. I just love seeing them lose. So, but I actually like Nebraska. But I'm going to keep my role in this friend group and pick
Oh.
Indiana here. And Indiana to cover the points, and just so I can enjoy my friend's misery.
Wow. Yeah, crickets. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, and I've said all along as we've been picking these games that as a Husker fan and as a Husker fan who has moved around the country, I will echo what Brady has said. The Husker fans are second to none. I mean, they go everywhere. I was watching part of the game with my boys a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about the red out when they played at Notre Dame. And just that picture of that poster. And my son was like, how is that even possible? It's Notre Dame. And I'm like, that's just how many Husker fans are around this country and around the world. But yeah, I don't know. I saw a little bit of a clip, maybe a headline clip from the Indiana coach. All I do is win. Just go Google me.
Yep.
That was pretty cool. I think that's, he's a guy that's had a chip on his shoulder, and he's undefeated in Indiana. He's getting the job done. He's out of the Nick Saban coaching tree. This one's scary as a Husker fan for me, because Indiana is not a school. I know they're ranked 16. I know they're undefeated. But again, this is one of those games that I've said from the past weeks that usually turns me off of Nebraska football, because this has the potential from old Nebraska football, not Matt Rule football, to the Huskers go in there and get completely slaughtered by a team that shouldn't beat them that badly. Matt Rule, I've said it all year long, he's teaching new culture. He's teaching them how to compete. They have not played 4 quarters all year long. They're going to have to play 4 quarters to beat Indiana, and I'm going to do it just because they're here, and I said I would. I'm going Nebraska to win the game. I think it's going to be special teams. A last team that has the ball wins, and I think it's the Huskers.
Yeah, I mean, that would be awesome on the road. It'd be big for Nebraska right now. But yeah, it is a scary game, BJ. It's I think the defense. I think it's going to be more of a defensive game versus like a shootout. To be honest with you, but like to Brady's point about Raiola, I think this week I kind of read some quotes. He was talking about it's just some guys need to just be, recuperate from being injured in just the first 6 games. But the mental piece as a freshman, of just, I just went through my first 6 games of college football. So hopefully, and with that game that they had last, it wasn't, I mean, football is not supposed to be in ideal weather, right? Even though a lot of teams play indoors. Nebraska doesn't. But that game, from a weather standpoint, it just mentally got in their heads about how they couldn't do things, or they get across the 40-yard line and things just shut down, right? So I think the mental piece and the mental break of this last bye week and going on the road, I think it'll be a big test, because the week after that, it's another big test. So.
Yeah, and Rayola, for saying that he lacks some energy, like, man, what a cool player! Like, he's so impressive, and that's so cool that Nebraska landed him. And I'm a big fan of his, and I'll be cheering for Nebraska. I cheer for him all the time. I just have to keep my role in this friend group.
No,
But
you're good. You're
um,
good.
that defensive game last week, they had a drive that started on the 1 and they didn't score, and then they started the next drive on like the 24 and they kept them out of the end zone. So if it is a defensive battle, I mean, Nebraska has every chance. I think they could easily win it, and I don't think it is a scary game because there's no pressure for Nebraska to win. They're not expected to win. Like, they can go in there and play like the role of upset, so there shouldn't be anything
Yeah.
scary about it.
On paper, you're right. They can, but they haven't done that. That's not historically what Nebraska does in this generation of Nebraska football. And that's why what you said is so true, but not for Nebraska football. They don't know how to go into a place with an underdog mentality and upset somebody. They can't even win when they're supposed to win. So,
well, they're doing pretty good this year covering that spread and winning. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
they are, really, honestly. But yeah, it's gonna be a grind. Well, like you said, Nebraska has no pressure. Like, Indiana has to live up to all the media hype, because they're gonna have Fox is gonna be there for their big game show. It's all eyes on in Indiana. They have everything to lose. Nebraska has everything to gain.
It's so true.
From that standpoint.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying it from the flip side of it. And if Nebraska would have come in here undefeated with Ohio State looming next week, it's a whole different media frenzy, because you've got Nebraska as the focal point, even if both of them are undefeated.
Well, when you have a defense like Nebraska has, and then you have a guy like Rayola, like, anything is possible. It truly is. And that quarterback piece has been the missing piece for a lot of years, where I know he's still a freshman, but he can make all the throws and he is calm under pressure. And so they could beat anyone with that makeup, I think. But they're not going to be favored in a lot of those matchups.
No.
Do you think Nebraska's defense gives up their first rushing touchdown in this game? They haven't given up a rushing touchdown all year. They're the only team in college football to not give up a rushing touchdown.
Yeah, I say no, not in this game.
Yeah. Okay.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think I'm with you guys. I think their defense is what's continued to give them hope. And I'm with you, Braid. I mean, if Rayola is a special talent, and if he can just, put a little fire in his step when those times are needed, that's going to be huge. But that's coachable too. So those are good. Those are good things.
Yeah, and I need to say this because there's a lot of Nebraska fans that probably listen to this. Like, I really do have the most respect for them. Missouri was rated like seventh this year, and they had a top 10 matchup at home, and like the corners of their bleachers were empty, and that stadium holds like 40,000 people. You got a top 10 matchup at home. It's like just pathetic.
Yeah.
Nebraska fans are like legit, and my friends that are Nebraska fans. They and family, they're so legit. I have so much respect for them. And I wish them all the success because when you've been enduring with your team for as long as they've been enduring, it would be cool to actually win some games that matter.
For sure, for sure. Well, thank you, Brady, for making picks with us and for joining us for this time. We do a little 3-day look ahead as well on the show. What do you got going on this weekend? What are you looking forward to in life?
Yeah, so got church. I'm always looking forward to that. And one of my best friends in the whole world is actually going to be in town this weekend. So I'm going to go watch him preach a revival at Dad's church a couple nights this week. And so it'll be a week full of church.
Nice, nice. Can you give us a plug on who's the evangelist?
Yeah, his name's Brian Jankerson.
Oh
So
boy.
yeah, he's been one of my best friends. We met when I was in college, and he's just a dear, dear friend. And so my dad's church is actually bringing him in, so I'll get to steal away some time with him.
That's awesome. I was just talking about Brian the other day. I was telling my friend about him, and what I love about Brian is Brian has no filter on the good with the way he loves, and with what I've endured this past year. There's been times where I'll just get a text from Brian, and all it'll say is "I love you, BJ," and that's all it'll say. Or this is Brian, and I know he's listening now. He was asking me about the podcast last week, and so I got a shout out to him as well. But I'll get one of those texts, and I know it's genuine, or I'll get a text of, "Hey, do you know how far I've flicked a booger today?" And both of those are so fitting to who Brian is because of what he's doing with that text. Brian, if you're listening, man, I love you, and I'm thankful for you. Thanks for loving me, but more importantly, thank you for loving on my brother the way you have. You are an incredible man, so I'll be praying for you guys, praying for great revival services there at Sand Springs. So it'll be awesome.
Yeah, I know we're probably out of time, but I think what makes this podcast really cool is it's all about friendship. And if you think about like the importance of relationship in your life and just how meaningful friendships are, like you can take them for granted, but then things start to go sideways and you need people and you never realize it. And when you have people in your corner and people who will challenge you and people who will speak truth into your life and people who you just know will show up when the worst thing imaginable happens. Like that's what makes this podcast work is it revolves around the stories of really good friends. And I think it's important just to pause and think about how lucky we are to have the friend group that we have. And your and Justin's relationship is like this beautiful model of friendship. And the truth about friendship is you get out of it what you put into it and nothing more, nothing less. And so I think as people think about how do you strengthen just your quality of life, well, invest in your friends and it will pay off 1,000 times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm so thankful for it. It's amazing some of the feedback I've gotten over these last few weeks of doing this, and as people are laughing about the stories because they were on the fringe of them at times, or heard about them, or what have you, or they've been around us at different times. I've also had a few of those people that have said, "Wow, you're still friends with Justin. You're still talking." I said, "Every day. We talk every day," and it's so. It is. It's. I'm going to use a word I never use. It's radical. It is radical friendship, and you're right, Braid. It's been a catalyst. We were gonna, if we couldn't land you tonight, we were gonna kind of get into some other stuff that has gone into our lives, and we're gonna save that for another time. But yeah, Justin and I have been through. We've both been through hell together.
We've been through hell, yeah.
And it doesn't matter. Whatever it is, there's those times where you can call and you can just cry. There's no words that have to be said, but it doesn't matter what time it is. I mean, we just send a reel to each other. I mean, Justin sent it to me because I don't send them back to him.
So I'm the guy that sends them all. You just look at them and you make judgment. Yes.
No, he sent one the other day. It's funny because Justin will send one about the size of your poop, and then the next one is about how deep your friendship is. And it's like, dude, where are you on this spectrum? And he sent one to me the other day that said something about being a 3 a.m. friend, a 3 a.m. friend. And just the whole premise of, you can call guys to help you move or help you do an errand or something. But there's very few guys that we can call at 3 a.m. and say, hey, man, I'm going through hell and I just need you to listen. And Justin's one of those. Justin's a 3 a.m. He's a 3 a.m. friend for sure. So,
yeah. I think what we forget is we all want that friendship in times of need. Like when you guys are talking about your story, you have these low moments and you need that companionship. Well, that friendship is built in just everyday life and times. You've been talking on the phone every day for years. So when the bottom falls out, that friend is there. And too often we get busy or we just get a little insecure. We don't want to face rejection and we don't invest the time when things are good, when everything's, above board, and then the bottom falls out. We're like, where is everyone? Well, they're right where they've always been, a little bit distant, a little bit further than they should be. And so this podcast is just a reminder of the beauty of friendship. And you can chase a lot of other things in this life, but friendship is, one of the most valuable things I think you can chase. And that's why I love this podcast. It puts that on full display.
Yeah, and when BJ alluded to us going through hell and in our own struggles in life and happen, I remember this last summer getting a call from Brady and just saying, hey man, I know you're always here for me. I know I haven't reached out to you, but I know that it doesn't matter. I know you're here for me, but I need you for my brother. I need, hey, thanks for this and thanks for that because that bond was already there. Like, and what did I tell you? I just told you, yeah, man, yeah, that's what we do. This is how we do it. And, it means a lot, to both you guys that I can count on you guys for anything, as well. You might not take my call at 3 a.m., but, I might have to call you again, but, no, but in all realness, if it was real, you would know that and we would be there. So
yeah.
I'm usually up at 3 a.m. now with BJ because he's on the West Coast. So I'm editing and talking to him over text message quick before I'm finishing this podcast. So he gets my 3 a.m. text here.
Yeah, the only time I'm answering your call is at 3 a.m. Any other time, I'm letting it go to voicemail. Yeah,
that's fair.
Good point. Good point.
That's fair. I can live with that.
Well, Justin, what do you got going on this weekend?
Oh, let's see here. My daughter has her own homecoming to go to.
Third homecoming. Wow.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And the kicker about this one is well, I get to Becky's in the hospital, rehabbing from her surgery, so I get to take her and her friends to go see Becky
Oh,
up to
cool.
the hospital, kind of go do a little photo shoot for them. Since Becky is kind of bummed that she was going to miss it. I mean, she missed the other two, but they weren't Breeze, my daughter's school's homecoming. So we're gonna go do that. I'm gonna run around. I'll be the chauffeur, you know. So we'll do that, and then my little Huskers play football. I'll watch football on Saturday. Hang out with Becky. Sunday church. We have our fall fest at our church for our new property. So we're kind of reaching out and loving on the neighbors of the new area where our church is moving to. And then my son has his last football game. So
Cool.
just a pretty lazy weekend. Yep.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I've got a work thing Friday and again, and then I've got just kind of a chill weekend as well. So it'll be a good weekend. I get to have dinner with all of my kids tomorrow, and I'm really pumped about that. So I'm excited to see all of them and to spend some time with them, and it's going to be good. Yeah, to see all of my kids all together. So that'll be good. Yeah, so it'll be good. Brady, thanks again, man, for joining us tonight and spending the time. I know we've gone a little bit longer than we promised you, but it's been good, and I appreciate you so much, man. I love you. Anything you just have to get off your chest for the world of our 1,000 some impressions? Anybody you want to impress upon tonight before we go?
Well, I think I've said enough probably, but thanks for having me on and thanks for doing this podcast. It's been really fun just to listen to it. And like I talked about before, just really grateful for the place you guys both hold in my life. And so keep doing it. I know there's lots of people enjoying listening. So thanks for having me.
Awesome. Well,
Thanks for being here.
thanks again, Justin, for pulling it together, and Brady for joining us. It's been a great night. And so here's to a lack of communication of irrelevant age news. We'll see you next time.
See ya.